let's go through the story of how I went from a straight A student to now dropping out of college. Hey guys, it's Ara. Welcome to Vlogmas Day 15. Today we are going to be doing a story time and get ready with me about my journey with college and how it is not for me. Anyway, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into the video. I'm really I feel really weird talking about this. I'm very open about it in person, but kind of like having it online, I don't know, I'm a little bit scared. But basically, let's go through my anxiety story. So let's go back to September of 2022, which was last year when I started university. Basically, I am in a very small program. I think there's now only 20 of us, but at the time there was like a few more. But basically this program is just super duper small. So all of my classes are only like 20 students. Yes, I only have lectures of 20 students. And one of my classes though was a lecture of, I think, 400 students. And let me tell you, when I went into that lecture hall, my entire body froze and I experienced my first ever anxiety attack. Don't recommend that for anyone. It was very scary. So basically what ended up happening is I got up, told my friend who was sitting next to me, I was like, babes, gotta go, gotta dip. And then I left. And then I want to say like 1 or 2 weeks later, my boyfriend Thomas, he is in engineering at the same school, and so obviously all his lectures are really big. So he asked me if I wanted to go to one of his math lectures, and I go there and he sits in the middle of the lecture hall, which was an experience to say the least, because you have to obviously like walk in past people in the auditorium. So anyways, it was just like a new experience for me, and I was like, it's okay, babes, you got this. But 10 minutes into the lecture, I get up and I'm like, I have to go. And my boyfriend was like, okay, do you need to go to the bathroom? I was like, no, like I need to go. So I literally just left my bag, got up and dipped. I walked past every single person. I was like, sorry, gotta go to the bathroom. Sorry, gotta go to the bathroom. Mind you, like the lecture literally started 10 minutes before, and this is the first lecture of the day. Like this is an 8:30 a.m. lecture. So I ended up just sitting outside and collecting myself, and I start to realize this is actually now becoming an issue. This is not something that should be happening. I cannot be going into classes and just leaving. So I booked an appointment with a doctor that is at my university, and I ended up being diagnosed with anxiety and panic disorder. Isn't that so fun and sweet? So that began my journey. I began Lexapro in November of last year, and I took it until February. And I will say, Lexapro worked great for me. I did have some of the very common side effects. You can search them up if you want, but overall it was like really good. The one complaint I will have is I think I was on too high of a dosage for myself, in which case I literally had no anxiety whatsoever, which is not good, because then you don't start assignments until 15 minutes before they are due. And yes, that happened on multiple occasions. So as I said, I took medication until February of 2023, and the reason I stopped, it's actually kind of funny. I didn't mean to stop, but I worked for Just for Laughs and I completely forgot to take my medication for all 10 days because I was just like so busy and always forgot. I got home super late, was waking up super early, so it just completely slipped my mind. Anyway, so I ended up stopping, and if you know anything about Lexapro, it has quite the withdrawal symptoms. So you're supposed to wean off of them, but obviously I didn't, and because I was so stressed just due to like the job I was doing, I didn't even notice the withdrawal symptoms. So when I went and spoke to my doctor, I was like, hey, I ended up stopping taking my medication by accident, but I feel completely fine. I think I should actually just stop medication for right now. Because the whole idea originally was to only be on it for 6 months, which at that point I was 3 months in, and if I was feeling good, she was like, see you hopefully never, to be honest. And that was kind of the end of it. I started therapy in May, and then June happened, and it was literally so bad. June was the worst month of my life. It was just not it. Mostly I started to experience panic attacks for the first time ever, but since I wasn't in school, I couldn't go see my doctor because it's like by semester that you pay for, but I wasn't paying because I wasn't in the summer semester. Therapy wasn't really doing too much for me, so I was just like really stressed. So I continued doing therapy, I want to say until August. So from May to August, I was doing therapy. And as I said, it wasn't really doing too much for me. Like, it was kind of helping, but at the end of the day, my anxiety was literally only getting worse. So then August came around and I was like, Ara, we need to find a way to deal with the anxiety. So I ended up actually just doing a complete diet change. I ended up counting my macronutrients, and let me tell you, that literally did heal my anxiety. When I say I literally didn't feel any anxiety for a month, I mean it. Quite literally, everything had been dealt with. And I started up school again. I was super excited, which was quite different than the year prior, right? And school began. Then, so now we're this past September, the one that just happened. My school's TAs and RAs went on strike in, I think, late September, early October, which meant that a lot of students were out of school for 3 weeks to a month-ish. And because of that, I started getting really comfortable at home. I really enjoyed being at home, and it was not good. I go back to school the last week of October, I want to say, and I just started feeling like something was off, but I kind of just chopped it up as it wasn't much. I was probably just being over dramatic. Foreshadowing, I should not have thought that. And I kind of just, you know, went on with my school days. November 1st rolls around and I'm hanging out with my friends in our lounge for like my program, and all of a sudden I start feeling very disoriented, and I've never felt this way before. I felt nauseous before, but I've never felt disoriented to the point where it felt like the room was spinning around me and I couldn't do anything to stop it, no matter how much water I drank, like whether or not I was sitting down or standing, walking around, like I just felt so disoriented. So we ended up walking to class, and I kept telling my friend, actually the same one who was in that 400-person lecture the year before, weirdly enough, I was like, hey, I'm really not feeling good. I feel like I'm gonna faint. And she was like, it's okay, Ara, let's just like get to class. We'll be fine. And I was like, okay, like I trust you, to be honest. It's probably like maybe I just haven't had enough food today, you know, it's probably just that. But boy, was it not. So I get to class and I'm sitting at my desk, and all of a sudden I'm like, no, something is not going right. I'm trying to like answer questions, but even my prof is like, she's not making any coherent sense. And all of a sudden I start blacking out. Like literally I'm like, and I start shaking, and my friend who's sitting next to me thought I was actually having a seizure, and I ended up just going back home, and I kind of just left it. Like literally nothing happened after that. I didn't end up feeling any weirder. I got better actually, so I just left it. The next day I go to school. I noticed again that my anxiety is really high, which was weird because it obviously hasn't been here since August at this point, and now it's November. And I'm just like, it's fine, let's get on with life. I had an exam November 7th, so this is basically 7 days after the fact, right? This is where shit hits the fan, unfortunately. So I studied for this exam and I feel really, really good about it, to be honest. There's no reason I shouldn't feel good. I'm already at like an A in the course, and it's one of those recall exams, which I'm really good at, so like terms and definitions and stuff. And I drive up to campus and I start violently shaking again, and I'm like, Ara, just calm down. It's probably just test anxiety, which I don't even think I have, but I was just trying to give it an answer, right? And I was just like really, really nervous because I didn't understand what was happening to me, and the lies I was trying to feed myself clearly were not helping at all. So anyway, I end up getting into the exam hall. I sit down and immediately, like, I am telling myself, absolutely not, I'm gonna have a heart attack. And so I'm looking at my sheet, looking at the wall, looking at my sheet, looking at the wall, start shaking, get up. 7 minutes into the exam, go to the prof, and I'm like, I gotta go. And he was like, yeah, just email me, like, completely fine. And I think it's because he noticed that for those 7 minutes, I was literally like going like this. And I ended up going home, I emailed him, and I had my first ever mental breakdown. And I mean, literally like mental breakdown. Turns out afterwards, I found out I should have actually gone to the hospital for it, but that is okay. And since then, I've actually not been back to school. and I went from a straight A student to now not going to school even next semester. I haven't signed up for any courses. So it's a big change. I noticed myself actually doing better inside of my house. I was still doing all the coursework and everything. I just did it from a distance, which I'm not really sure if you're allowed to do, but I did. And some of the profs were being a bit more difficult than others when it came to me not going to class, but some of them were really sweet and really understanding. So I did go to class for the first time in a month in December because I had to take an in-person exam, and it was quite the experience, to say the least. I did not really enjoy it. I cried the entire time. I feel bad for anyone taking that exam in the room with me because it literally would have sounded like this. Yeah, that was literally me. And even my mom drove me to school. I'm literally damn near 20-year-old, and I had my mom drive me to school and sit outside my classroom while I took my exam. And the second I finished, I dipped, even though there was still class going on. And it was just a really nerve-wracking experience. Anyway, since then, I have now come to the conclusion that I really just need to take the semester off to collect my thoughts and figure shit out. I've also realized I'm not even sure if I enjoy studying what I'm studying, which I understand like is a part of the college experience, and like, you know, being a young adult is figuring out what you want to do. But it really hurts because I'm a full ride student, and to feel like I'm not failing, but the one thing I've always been good at is school, and to now not go to school, it's really rough on me, which I feel like is not helping my anxiety. But at the same time, leaving is 100 times worse. That is kind of it. Let me know if you guys have any more questions, because I know some of you, especially in my program, have probably been like, where has this bitch been at? I'm sorry if some of this didn't really make sense. It's still quite fresh and I don't really know how to articulate my words and everything. I tried my best to make it in chronological order, but we'll see once I actually start editing this. And guys, that brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. And again, if you have any questions about anxiety or my college experience, be sure to comment them down below. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And peace!